Day 3, prepping the Steam Deck. Not actually playing games on it. What? How y'all doing? I've got the Steam Deck set up how I want it. Kind of set up how I want it. I don't know. I've spent more time just dicking around with it than I have actually playing games on it. I'm sure everyone does that. Now, plan for today is to hook the Steam Deck up to a capture card, to my laptop, and just maybe stream some games with it. I'm not entirely sure how resolution switching works on the Steam Deck, because it takes its operating system default is based on the telly you plug it into externally. So if I plug in a 4K TV with an adapter that is capable of pushing 4K, whatever the max of the telly is, in my case 4K 60, if I plug in a dongle that will do 4K 60, then it will go, let's just max out 4K 60. There isn't an option in the menu to change the display resolution. So, does that mean that it outputs at 4K 60 as well when I launch a game? Or, because I've heard there's some tech going on in the Steam Deck, some software-y stuff going on and some magic jiggery pokery, there is a default render resolution. I've heard that would mean that games will run at, I think, 800p on the deck screen, 1610, or external displays will run automatically at 16:9 720p. So there isn't, as I say, there isn't an option unless you dip into the main operating system, I don't think, but there is a way that you can go per software, tell it what resolution you want to render to. Like there's like default, native, and I imagine like if I just say native, it will go, the display is rendering it, or the display is being pushed at 4K 60, let's try and output 4K 60. Not a good idea with the Steam Deck, but some stuff I just want to play with. I have hooked up VR chat, and I've just been talking to my mate Jet, like in a call. We've been in a room, and he's come through and he's like used one of his high poly avies and stuff to try and spank the Steam Deck, and it was okay. I have had some quite significant drops, but it's still good enough for me to be able to have a conversation with him. So that was rad. But that seemed to, on a 4K 60 TV, render at a much lower resolution, but still plenty sufficient. I'm also going to turn on FSR and bump up the old sharpness and just by default go with the free extra performance, I suppose. It's not, I wouldn't imagine it's ideal, and it's probably something that you wouldn't want turned on all of the time. However, given that I've played a lot of games on Nintendo Switch, I'm not particularly bothered by low-res anything. As long as I can read what's on screen, I'm cool. One last thing to note. Today appears to be the day that this channel has hit 100 subscribers. Yay! Now, it was funny actually because my mate Steve just mentioned that on Dad Bod Forever. He's got a secondary channel where he does vlogs. He mentioned how he was going to make a video about his 100 subscribers and didn't want to make the video just in case he ticked down to 99. I guarantee you, maybe, probably, this channel will tick down to 99 after yesterday's video, which will be uploaded today, but whatever, right? So, and I'm pretty sure it was all hands on Steam Deck because they said they were going to subscribe. I'm now at 100. So I got the notification this morning. YouTube Studio says you've got 100 subs. Yay, 100 subs, arbitrary number reached, woo! This is first and foremost a vlogging channel, a shitposting channel, so it doesn't matter. I had vlogging channel before. 9 years of content went in the bin. This is just a fluff thing. I'm doing for a laugh. No specific rhyme or reason, and if I find a reason to polish something up, I'll actually put some effort in. Otherwise, fucking minimum effort, vlog style fluff. Anything that interests me on the day makes it in. Making that clear. This is for me, not for anyone else. Job done. Making that clear because my children watch this too. We're not trying for numbers, kids. We're just fucking doing shit. And rocking out. I guess thanks for the 100. Steam Deck client. Okay, so TV on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook it up to this Anchor dock. I don't remember what model it is, but this one is pretty pricey, but I normally use it on my Zephyrus G40. And we've got dongle for control pad. We'll use the SN30 Pro 2. Steam Deck power in, HDMI out to capture card, which is going to here. The capture card is there. Elgato HD60X. And I should really clean up all these wires. But yeah, we'll see what it is. Now I'm pretty sure it's rendering it like a native deal. Let me just go to settings on this one. Where's the button? Framing's terrible. Under properties, I think I've just got it set to like default or native. It's under, yeah, here you go. Game resolution. So whatever default actually is. Oh, blimey, that's bright. Yeah, it says default. And then you have the option for native. Oh, Jet's going to chill out. So yeah, I'm going to leave it to default. I believe, I've read somewhere, I've heard it's 800p on Steam Deck, 720p connected up to an external screen, regardless of what the TV is. So I'll go with that for now. Have a poke about. If that's the case, again, that's totally fine, because I've played loads of games on Nintendo Switch and resolution has never been an issue for me. I'd rather have a stable frame rate than high res anyway, and as long as I can read it, it's not that big of an issue. So yeah, cool. Let's hook up and see what happens, because I'm losing track of what I'm banging on about right now. I just want to know VR chat on that TV versus VR chat on screen. Performance differences, near non-existent. So there definitely is a minor switch going on. It isn't rendering native. This is just something a bit ago. But I have noticed as well, yesterday when I hooked up to my screen, the game to the left's title would appear. So I'd highlight it, move across, but both titles would try to render on the display. So that doesn't seem to be a thing at the moment. I haven't updated it or anything, but hang on, let's do an update. Just do an update. Steam Deck client update, SteamOS 3.3. We've just shipped SteamOS 3.3 to the stable channel. The update includes all the changes and improvements that have been undergoing testing in the preview and beta. So tell me what we got. Oh, okay. We got an update. Added achievement page to overlay, guides page, notification when Steam Deck temperature goes outside of safe operating range. I guess that's if you're running it outside in the heat, because I think they did warn, Valve did warn about that. Or if you're like blocking vents or whatever. Scheduled night mode, neat. Button to clear, enter text and search bar, thank you. Adaptive brightness toggle, fixed notification, claim digital rewards, firing endlessly. What's this? Fixed issue with medium length game names in menu overlay not properly scrolling. Fix some issues with claiming Steam Deck digital rewards. Fixed sound, playing achievement progress notification. Fixed washed out colors. Fixed Xbox login for Windows Flight Simulator, Halo Infinite not rendering on. Okay, cool. Okay. Steam input has had an update. Missing deck buttons for gyro enable and button chord options. Support for game bundle virtual menu icons. Okay. Miscellaneous performance improvements. Awesome. Keyboards and support for simplified Chinese, traditional Chinese, Japanese, Korean keyboards. Still refining these keyboards. Excellent. Oh god, iBus IME input support for desktop Chinese, Japanese and Korean. Okay, desktop mode, keyboard sometimes failing to show or dismiss, fixed screen keyboard. For quick access menu update, keyboard behaviour, fixed some touch style issues, system updates. Oh, here we go. Bloody hell, there's a lot here, I'm not reading all this. So what's the system updates? Added new deck software update, channel selector, stable beta preview. I'll stick with stable for now. And performance and stability, that's the important stuff. Fixed some performance problems for users with many screenshots, several crashes related to managing screenshots, crashes related to non-Steam shortcuts, some Linux games not exiting when force quit through Steam, fixed Flatpak crime closing improperly when quitting through Steam, fixed a bug where some Flatpak applications like Edge couldn't successfully quit, fixed performance issues where some games, or with some games, when the backload changed intensity. Interesting, okay. So I wasn't highlighting that very well, I was just kind of looking off in the distance. Okay, cool. First time launches Firefox. They're fucking adding some really good stuff. Add options to scale Steam Deck user interface for external displays. Oh, hang on, let's do that. And then there's Bluetooth audio, fixed echo cancellation, driver firmware update of the graphics driver compatibility. Right, okay, just give me a sec, hang on, because they might have just put in fucking things that I'm like, about. Right, let's hit the software update restart. Shutting down Steam. I love this thing. I'm sorry, like this is this is kind of exciting. This is neat. I was exactly the same when I got hold of SteamOS, just prattling around with that. That was fantastic. And I was dicking around with SteamOS around the same time on that little machine down there. Around about the same time I was dicking around with that laptop on the table. That's an old laptop now, right? I had terrible performance with that laptop, and I started playing Windows when they enabled Steam Play on SteamOS. Started playing with Steam Play about the same time as I got that laptop. Funny thing is, was that SteamOS? I don't remember. It might have just been my Linux machine, and I was running Proton back when it first came out. Like Windows games were running better on the Steam machine or my Linux box than they were on the Windows machine. It was just fucking great. That was actually surprisingly quick. It's downloading some game updates. So let's check the display option in settings and see if it gives me the very thing that I was just saying we didn't have. So what was I looking for again? Display, that was it. Display. Oh, screw night mode. I'm worried about that. Oh, adjust image to fit external display, automatically scale. So if I say no. No? If I turn off, well, there's two options there. Well, so I'm not too, it's not resolution, it's just scale. Oh, okay. So it's not what I thought we'd have. We've got a couple of sliders that get enabled, but okay. Fair that. So, should we fire this up and see what it does? That went surprisingly well. But before that, just want to throw out there. Wait, would you look at that? 102. Fantastic. If the video that I put up today causes everything to shit the bed, we've got a buffer of 2. That's what you do, Steve. Give yourself a little buffer and then watch as everything catches fire. So, I didn't really do anything to faff around with resolutions or frame rates, to be honest. With one exception, I said I was going to turn on FSR, and I launched Stray, because I was right at the end of Stray, or near enough. I was probably 2/3 of the way through the game. And we fired up a stream, and near enough instantly I was like, oh, I don't know, I don't like this. And there was a bit of artifacting going on. And I thought that might have been FSR, so I turned off FSR. And it might have actually been dynamic res scaling, because I guess because it was optimized for Steam Deck, the game had changed the settings versus what I'd normally use, which was like maxed out, because I'd be playing on Belial, my 3080 Linux gaming PC, versus the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck doesn't have that much horsepower, right? But it was plenty playable. Played it through to completion. It wasn't as pretty as Belial. It wasn't going to be as pretty as Belial, but it was playable. Here's the thing, and I have said this many a time over the years, and my friends and I discuss this quite regularly, in that I know some people who get really bummed up on frame rates and frame time graphs, and to be honest with you, I think it's absolutely horseshite. I don't think it's important at all. Is resolution important? No. Can you read what's on the screen, and can you see what's going on in the game? If the answer is yes, excellent. Frame rate. Is it 30? Is it 60? Is it 120, 144? I've got a monitor over there that's 165. You know, to you, does it feel sufficient? Does it feel responsive? Can you play the game? If the answer is yes, then that's all that matters. Even if it's a stuttery mess, if you can play it and you're still enjoying it, that's all that matters. Your frame times don't matter, your frame rates don't matter, your resolution doesn't matter. I've brought up the Nintendo Switch like a billionty times already, but I played through Doom 2016 on the Nintendo Switch. Right? That game is sub HD a lot of the time because of dynamic resolution scaling. But when you're in the thick of it, shooting the ever-loving shite out of everything that moves, running around like a mentalist, you don't notice how shite the graphics look. You just don't, because you're too engrossed in the game and in the action. I know people who, they swear on their lives they're sensitive to frame rates, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I was totally 60, I'm like, it ain't. I promise you that ain't running at 60 FPS. One of my mates a while back, when Cyberpunk came out, he was adamant that he was playing the game like high ultra settings at like 60 FPS. And I was like, dude, I promise you, you are not playing that game high ultra at 60 FPS on your rig. He's like, I am, as perfectly smooth as fine. Even though my machine was more powerful than his and wasn't capable of it. I was like, you're not. And then he tried to live stream. I was like, dude, this is a fucking slideshow. You're lucky if you're even getting, like, on the stream, it must have been about 15. So I was like, dude, you're lucky if you're getting anywhere near 40. You have no idea what a smooth frame rate is. That said, that same friend would happily play classic Rainbow Six at, like, sub 15 FPS. If the game is engrossing enough, those metrics don't matter. In this console generation, so like PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, the biggest change, in my opinion, isn't ray tracing, isn't resolution, it's that console gamers finally get what we've had on PC for 1 billion years. High frame rates, or frame rates higher than 30 FPS. But if a game doesn't require, like, as I say, if a game feels right, it doesn't matter. So I was just had a VR chat while loading in the background. It's just turned off. Curse you, Steam Deck. Your battery saving. If a game feels fine, 30's alright. You know, a lot of games are optimised for 30. Most console gamers had never experienced life over 30 FPS. You know, if your inputs feel responsive enough, your frame rate's fine. I reckon in a lot of cases, I will play games on the Steam Deck at 30 FPS. I'll only push for 60... I'm pretty sure Stray wasn't playing at 60 today. Guarantee it. For the most part, it just wasn't. All right, but it was fine. It was responsive enough for what it was. The game didn't require, you know, pixel perfect input. It just didn't. It didn't need frame perfect inputs. So I'll only push for that kind of stuff if input timing is necessary, like a fighting game or whatever. If I need those 60 frames per second, I will push for 60 FPS. If the game doesn't require it and controls feel responsive enough, 30's fine. 20's fine. Depends on the game. If it's a visual novel, if I'm only getting like, I don't know, 15 FPS, that's fine. So, I don't think those metrics are quite important. I think people are really going hardcore looking at these metrics in completely the wrong way. What's fine for you might not be fine for me, and that's why I'm not going to show any of it. For me, it was fine. That will be entirely dependent on the game. I'm looking to push, say, I'm going to go for Final Fantasy VII Remake at some point on it, even though I've already played that through on the PlayStation. Now, there was only 30 on the PlayStation, and even then it was a bit wobbly in places. But I think that'd be fun to have as a portable. Sea of Thieves runs 30 on console. I don't mind playing it on the old console-y frame rate on deck. It's going to be a great piece of kit. I just hope people don't damn it because of metrics. Really. I feel they might, because I've already heard people complaining about the screen. It's only 800p. Mate, that's too low resolution, man. Like, everything looks like well blurry and shit. I'm going to pay nearly double the price in some cases for another machine just because it's got a higher res screen. It's like, okay, fair enough. But, whatever. Perfectly playable, nice and comfortable. I really want to test the suspend feature later. I don't know what to play on it though. Now I'm spoilt for choice. That didn't come out quite how I wanted it to, but I am mega stressed at the minute because I've been waiting for some files to be sent down from a server and or sent to a server. And it looks like the file transfers have like hung, and I'm probably going to be banging my head until early hours of the morning. So, no early night for me. But thankfully I've got the Steam Deck, so I can just sit here and chill. So, hope you're well, and I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one. What a great piece of kit. Don't even have to wait for porting houses anymore. The games are there. You just have to be willing to make compromises. Resolution, frame rate, whatever. Pick one. It'll still look better than the Switch.